Are here. It is now 58 minutes after the hour. I see Mr. J. Darius has showed up already, and so we're gonna get started early. We're a couple minutes early, but that's all right. That's all right. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good this morning. I'm good, doing good. I said you've been doing the circuits, going around singing and everything. I told everybody I first met you was almost a year ago out there at 100 Black Men.
Yeah, that was about a year ago. And yeah, I've kind of just been keeping steady, getting out there, getting around the city, just, sharing what I got.
And I've been spreading the word. I've been playing your music. I don't know if you heard it today. I've been playing your music. Uh, I played your song that you just released. Was that "Fell in Love"?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I played that one earlier, and I got response on that already. And I said, "Yeah, yep, he's coming around and everything to look out for." But I always was talking about San Antonio on the R&B singers we have here in San Antonio. Everybody want to go to Houston, Dallas, even Austin want to steal the thunder. But we
Mm-hmm.
got singers right here in San Antonio. They just don't understand. And
Right.
oh, they say, oh, they're just local singers. I say, everybody start off local. You know,
Right.
we
Right.
all start
Everybody's
off like
local.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's local to somebody. So,
Mhm. But knowing somebody personally is a different story because you get to know that person on what they went through to get where they at. And I was reading your bio again the other day, and you really want to become a gospel singer back in the days. And
when I first started, and I grew up in church and I grew up on gospel music. We weren't necessarily allowed to listen to secular music growing up.
yeah,
And yeah, so that was really my first thought was to pursue gospel music. But then over the years, I just started to, come to terms with my style and what I enjoy and how I can still work in R&B soul genres while
yeah,
maintaining my morals and the things that I believe.
yeah. So does the writing part comes from deep inside how you was brought up or what you see? How does a artist come up with the songs they write? Because I know some is life experience,
Mhm.
and some is how you was brought up. Is yours in the middle, or do you have a twist to it?
I think I'm a mixture of that, but then also as an artist, you have the freedom to create, So every song that's written is not necessarily about me. It's not necessarily about something I've gone through. Sometimes it can just be a creative idea or a thought or thinking about what somebody else would go through in a certain situation and writing to that and speaking to that. And I think it just keeps the creative juices going because I don't always necessarily have to rely on just my life experiences or just things that I've gone through, but I can be creative and I can come up with different concepts and ideas about other things that maybe I haven't even experienced yet.
Yeah, because I noticed some of your music. I always call it the soulful sounds of J. Darius.
I'm not mad at that.
And that's what I say when I play your song. And I say, you just heard from the soulful sounds, San Antonio own R&B artist Jay Darius. I hype it up a little bit to let everybody know that you're here. And that's what sticks with me, the soulful sound, because the sound you have is soulful and you sing it from the soul. And
Mhm.
it's hard for people to recognize that or see that or feel that. But
Mhm.
when I first heard you sing, that's the first thing that came to my mind, the soulful sounds that you have.
Mm. Yeah, and I think that was something, like I said, talking about gospel versus other genres, where I started to say, this is really my sound. This is really where I thrive. And the more I kind of dived into soul music and R&B music and pop funk music, I started to see the success. And so I started to understand that this is just my lane. This is just the gift that God has given me. So I need to walk in that. And, since doing that, I've really been seeing a lot of success and getting that feedback that, you want to hear as an artist, that people identify you with a feeling and a vibe. And like you said, you've heard me sing live. So you're like, yeah, that absolutely, this guy is walking in what he should. And so it's just, I think, good to start to settle into genre that just really fits me.
Yeah. See, a lot of people don't realize this who are not black. I'm gonna put it like that. When you start off in the gospel, you sing a cappella. You don't need a studio to make you sound good. You could jump up and sing, it doesn't matter. Like, for instance, I'm gonna bring up Jennifer Hudson. When that girl got up and sung on American Idol, they told her exact words from Simon, oh, you too chubby, you won't make it out there. But he doesn't understand the black culture and how we do things. We never needed a studio to sound good. We just open up our mouth and sing. As I was growing up, back in the 60s, I'm aging myself. But we had groups that we stood on the corner and we sung the doo-wops. We just sung songs and people would go by and stop by and just hear us.
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of miss those days of talent shows we had. We had talent shows with numerous of people going on. Like granted, they were a star in their town, and that was good enough for them because people knew who they were. And being an R&B singer, what happened to R&B? It's coming back, but for a while, it's just I'm gonna say after the 90s, it's sort of like shut down. I mean, we got all this rap and all this stuff came out and people dropping hooks and
Mm-hmm.
everything because back then, if you had a hook, you had a hit.
Mm-hmm.
No meaning to the song. It was a hook, it was a hit. That's everybody remember. They went by that.
Right.
Then they start doing sampling. And that really, my son is a DJ, and he would say, Dad, you heard this song? I said, man, that came out in 1973. What you talking about? Did I hear that song? But it's nice to see being refreshed with you, writing your own songs. And what was I said about you earlier? I don't know if you heard me. I said, always imitated, but never duplicated.
Mm-hmm. I
So,
appreciate that. Yeah, and I think um, it is technology. We have to acknowledge that technology and things that you can do in the studio can, take someone who maybe doesn't have the best voice and put them, in a space where they're really competitive because their music sounds good or how they style the voice in the studio. But I think, like you said, I think there's an element of, just raw talent that even with that will never go away. There will always be people who just have raw talent with studio, without studio. Can you perform in front of hundreds of people? Can you perform in front of thousands of people? Just you and a microphone. Can you accomplish that? And I think we see that, on different award shows where we go, oh, okay, I like that song, but I don't know if I necessarily prefer to see them live. And I think what makes you a strong artist is being able to go into the studio and create something that can go out all over the world, but then being able to stand up in front of people and produce that same song out of your own body to where people can feel it. I mean, that's why we go to concerts, because there's something about the energy and hearing that voice in the room that just gives you a completely new experience about the person and the music. So I think that element is never going to go away, no matter how far we go into technology and manufacturing voices. But the raw talent of it is something that's going to stand the test of time.
so we talk about music on how it's evolving and changing. Now we got this thing coming out called AI.
Mm,
That is scaring the mess out of people because they could take your voice and do a whole new song that you didn't even sing yourself.
mm,
And AI is out there, and I get it because number one, I made sure I pay my license to play on my radio station because I
right.
don't want nobody knocking on my door saying, "Hey, you owe us this money." No, I faithfully make sure I do that because the artists, y'all deserve that. That's your song. That's your royalties coming your way. But with AI coming out, wouldn't that complicate a lot of things right now? Something false came out about you.
Yeah, I think it is tough because one side of it is like, wow, the power of technology, the creative ability that people can have. But I think there's going to have to be some regulation around it. You know, and ultimately I think you're gonna eventually gonna need to get permission. It's just like sampling, for example. Like you sample someone, ultimately if you want to sell that product, you got to get their permission to use their music. So I feel like it'll be something similar to where, hey, if this is identifying my voice and style, then you're gonna have to get my approval, or you won't be able to, earn anything from that type of music. But it's going to be difficult to regulate. It's going to be difficult to keep tabs of that. But I get it too, because there's that creative element where, let's say you wanted to AI Whitney Houston's voice, because Whitney Houston is no longer here to produce music. So you wanted to come up with something creative. I get it, but I think there is going to have to be some regulation around it, because it's just going to get too complicated and too muddy when people are trying to use something that belongs to someone else.
I did something years ago for this lady, and she wanted to use this one song. I forget the name of the song, but I said, we just can't do that. We got to get permission. Really, we do? So I end up getting in contact with the producer, and to get a hold of the artist to say, we want to use this song on a slideshow and stuff. It's going to be about 5-6 minutes long, and her song fit perfect for it. And so he said, well, let me find out and everything. They got back to me a week later, said, it's a go, you can use it. I said, okay, can I get that in writing? you know, Please give it to me. And they did. They sent it to me in writing. And I tell everybody, that's the best way to go. To get, say, I can use it, you know.
Right.
And most artists are honored when you want to use one of their songs in something. They feel they love it. They say, oh, my song? Like for movies with Black artists. Let's take, for instance, movies coming out. When you listen to some of the music in some of the movies, it's a lot of old Motown in there, a lot of old Black artist music in there. And I'm figuring out, well, if they thought it was good enough and they wanted in the movie, I'm pretty sure they got paid, for using that song. So is somebody use your song, a sample or something of it, you give them permission. Is
Mhm.
there royalties you get from that song?
Yeah, and then that goes back to the contract, right? So
Okay.
how you set up the permissions, and sometimes you can license people to utilize your song for a certain period of time for a certain fee. So there's different arrangements that you can make, but like you said, ultimately you need to get in contact with the owner, the people who own the song, own the music, own the rights to it, to make sure that everything's in compliance. But like you said, if someone wants to use my music, I love that, or someone heard my music somewhere and was like, I would love to play this for whatever event or some special project. That's an honor that people want to utilize that, because whatever it is, it's a special moment and they're choosing something that you created to have that moment with. So I mean, it really is a very special thing.
Now, with your music, um, is everything locked in upon you? You got the rights to all your music, and I forget the name to use for it. It was on the tip of my tongue, but you have your recording rights and everything, contract and everything that, um, everything is yours. Put it that way.
Mhm. Right. It all goes through me.
Yeah, because that's some mistake that some artists make, that they don't sign. Like, for instance, TLC got taken to the cleaners. They got taken to the cleaners bad. They didn't make no money. Whoever did that contract, they had trust in them, and they walked away with everything. You know,
And and I get it, because there's multiple things that you need to do to ensure that your songs are protected. Yes, there's copyright, but there's also a lot of metadata that you need to submit in order to show proof that this is your song. You have the rights to use it. You have the right to put it out, which is, tedious. And that's like the tedious part of the music business and the music industry, aside from just being a creative and just creating music. You got to do the follow up with your PRO, to make sure that every time that your song is played on the radio, something comes back to you. But it's I think that's the not fun side of being an artist, and especially when you're independent, like you're the person who's going to do that. Like there's no team of people doing that for you. So yeah, there's a lot of things that you need to do, but ultimately, once it's done and once it's all submitted, you keep going about your business.
I'm gonna ask you something that I'm wondering about because I talked to a few basketball players in the days, and they told me they're glad they got a CPA.
Mm,
Reason why that is when they go and play in certain towns and certain states, the tax are different.
mm,
See, a lot of people think that they're making $1 million coming in over here, but once they tax, they may bring home $450,000 because the tax bracket is high. Is that the same thing with music? If you say you went to California and played, their tax bracket is different. So whatever you make on there out there, you have to pay the taxes on that. Is that right?
That's true, right? Because it's still business, it's still industry, like it's fun and creative what we get to do, but when it comes down to the money, it has to be the same way. Because ultimately, you don't want the government or whoever to come looking for you. And that's, a lot what happens. We see that with artists who owe X millions of dollars over years and years
Mhm.
of, tax evasion. It's like you got it's a job. It's a job, just like you get your W-2 from your employer and all that stuff. You gotta go about the process of making sure that money is right and allocated and claimed as it should be, as properly. I mean, that's just business. That's just
Yeah,
legal.
yeah.
Again, not the not fun side. I'm sure they want to just play basketball. They just want to get out on the court and
Exactly.
play, which you can, as long as you have somebody handling that portion of the business.
That you could trust.
Absolutely.
Trust is a big word in there. All right,
Absolutely.
we're gonna get away from the business part. I had to bring all that up right now. So you got something coming up next month. You got two things coming up next month. I was gonna steal your thunder and say it, but I'm gonna wait for you to come on for you to say it. You got something coming up on August 5th, and then you got something coming up on August 13th. What do you have coming up?
I have the anniversary of some things that I did last year.
Yeah.
Um, Last year, I released my latest album, No Time Wasted. That was on August 5th
Mhm.
last year. And I also did my concert, album release concert, which was August 13th of last year.
Okay. So with that, with your release of the song, um, I think it was your sophomore album, if I'm right. And how did that go when you released it? But everybody's waiting. So I'll wait for your music. I'm greedy. I'm waiting for it because I was telling somebody your genre it fits some of my shows,
Mhm,
like
mhm,
especially on Sundays. I play a mixture of gospel and jazz and um R&B,
mhm,
contemporary R&B. And I put you in that contemporary R&B category because your voice and how your music goes, and it fits perfect with Sunday. And Sunday is one of my highest listener time. I could not believe that when I checked everything. I said, you got to be kidding me, Sunday. And so I threw you right in there on Sundays, and it went perfect because every time when I put something in on you, what I negated to do, which is my fault, I put your song in there, but I didn't put who it was by.
Ah,
I said, that's my bad. So I made sure I went back in there and put Jay Darius in there so they know who it is.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but with that, with you doing things like that in your music, in the genre that you pick out, it's so I mean, it's different. And,
Mhm,
and I said that today to everybody. He's different, and that's
mhm.
what you want to be. You want different. You got your own. I put it. They say Jay Darius has his own style.
Yeah. And I think that it's multiple factors to that. Like we talked about the genres of music that I grew up listening to, predominantly gospel. But as I got older, I started to mix in jazz. Artists like Ella Fitzgerald and Billie Holiday and Louis Armstrong, and then jumping to like neo soul, where you have the Erykah Badu and music Soul Child. But then, I really there's a lot of contemporary pop music that I listen to. So it all kind of gets mixed up in that kind of gumbo of music. And then I'm able to put my voice and my styling to that. And so I get that a lot. I get a lot of like, I hear a little old school, but then I get a little new school. And then I get kind of a mix of like, a little Earth, Wind, and Fire, but then I can hear, the Giveon and kind of the John Legend mix. So I get a lot of that mix, which is great. I mean, I want to be versatile. I think home base for me is that soul, neo soul. But, I'm going to do some pop songs. I'm going to do some more hip hop songs. I'm going to always be in the mix of that. And I think that's just artistry. You think about Prince, he never was like, oh, I'm going to be just this thing.
Yeah.
He puts out the music he puts out, and you like it because it's Prince.
Right.
If it's a little rock and roll, you don't mind. If it's a little soul slow down, you don't mind because he's just an artist creating music. And so that's more of the lane that I think I'm going into now, where I'm not even limiting myself to just soul music. I'm gonna do a little pop. I'm gonna do R&B, R&B. I'm gonna do old school R&B. I'm gonna mix all of that up because I'm an artist making music, and I'm gonna add my own flair, my own voice to that. And I think it just keeps it fun. We're gonna invest all this time and energy. I want to have fun. I want to have a good time and just be happy with the music that I'm making. And I think in the past couple of years, I've been really happy with the music that I'm making. So I think it's just fun.
So, playing around San Antonio with different people, um, who did you like singing with, or because I know y'all get together sometime and get bands together. So, what did you like about that with new singers or people you want to collaborate with?
Yeah, I love that. And I think it's again, we're keeping it fun, like if I'm out somewhere and I hear someone, I'm gonna share their stuff, I'm gonna post them and say, hey, look at this cool artist that I'm hearing for the first time. Just as if I was out somewhere, I would want someone to be like, oh wow, like that sounds good. Where are you from? What are you
Yeah.
doing? So I think, being open and collaborative is a great way to just be as an artist. But there's just so much talent out there, and there's no need to be competitive because everybody's a little different and does things a little differently. So I feel like it's just fun to celebrate each other. And when we're out, you're singing, you're playing, you're rap, whatever you do it, have fun, and, just support each other. I think that's the biggest thing because there's plenty of space for everybody to shine.
Thank you. Because when I posted your flyer, 34K came on. I
Mhm.
heard her for the first time at Legacy Park. We were out there doing Juneteenth. The girl, something else.
Yes.
Yeah,
So yeah, so 34K plays guitar in my band.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
tell me that. I
So
see, and I reached out to her and I said, "Give me a call so I get you on the show." And I called her out on the show earlier this morning. I said, "Oh, I see you up there. You giving Jay Darius the props. What? Come on now, give a brother a call."
oh
So
yeah.
if you see her, tell her I said she. No, I'm not gonna volunteer her, but yeah, she did a great job there on that guitar. She did
Yeah.
a couple of songs that caught my attention. Matter of fact, I recorded the whole show. And it's my bad. I got caught up in some stuff. I am editing it and I'm gonna play it back very soon because they're calling me and ask me when is it gonna be ready. So I'm a one-man crew. It's just me. I don't have thousand people behind me doing this. I'm just doing everything on my own, but I'm getting there. But
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
No, she's great. And she actually produced one of the songs on the No Time Wasted album, a song called Fly. She produced that. She's playing guitar on that. Yeah, no,
yeah.
she fantastic talent.
Well, one song I liked on your album was "Groove Tonight."
Mm.
And that one, I like that one. I said, oh, okay, he's out there. There was something different about that song. And what I liked about it, it was yours. You know,
Mhm.
a lot of people don't know when I say it was yours. You know, when I'm saying it was yours, it was you coming out. That was you. It seemed like you got into that particular song to me. And you got into it. You really spoke in it. And,
Mhm.
and I like that song. Just like I interviewed what's her name, London, who does more.
Mhm.
Latoya London. I interviewed her a couple years ago, and I asked her, "That song more sound like you're into it." She said, "Ron, I ain't gonna lie to you, I was in love." And she said all that took was a couple of takes to do. Which bring my next question. Takes. When I'm here doing drops or doing commercials, sometimes a 30-second spot would take me 4 hours to do because I keep on, okay, take number 35, take number 36. So when you in the studio with your takes, how often does you have to take certain takes to make sure it's right?
Uh, I would say two or three takes for me, because studios not free, so you really gotta maximize your time, and so I try to come in as prepared as possible, kind of have as many of the creative ideas ready in my mind. Say, hey, on this part, we're gonna do this, but I'm singing like this, or on this part, we're gonna be adding, these harmonies or these vocal structures, what have you. And sometimes it's one take and you just leave it, because sometimes you can overcomplicate take where you're trying to get this thing, but sometimes that first take is the best, is just the best take. It is good on its own and you just need to leave, because you can start getting into, well, and it's like, no, we got it. So let's keep going on to the next part. So, but no, studio work is fun. I enjoy going to the studio and just create. Again, it's just a place to play and create. And I think when you write your own music and it's kind of like you said, it's in you, it's in your brain, it's in your body. So when you come into the studio, you're just like ready to go, ready to put it out there, and start building and building till you have that final edit of that song, just how you like it.
So when you get your song in there and it's edited, I know you're in part of that editing process, right? I will sure hope so that you part of that. So when you edit it, like you jump and say, well, what if we add this to it and do that and do that? And I know that comes up from time to time when you say, well, maybe we should have done this and done that. And then you just said it a few minutes ago. When you start overthinking it, you get outside that rim where you really want it to be at. It's best sometimes to leave it alone.
Absolutely. And there are things about the songs that the audience will never know. There are things that I'm like, I really should have added this, or there's too much of that, or. And the audience a lot of times just, they love music. They love to hear. They're not critiquing music the way that I'm critiquing music. They're
Yeah.
they're saying, I love it. It sounds great. I can dance to it. I can play it in the house. They're just enjoying it. So there's a part of it where you have to just kind of let it go and just say, song is done. We will write other songs. We will create other songs, and just let the people enjoy it, and make sure I enjoy it. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be able to listen to my music and not think, okay, I should have. It's done. It's out. People are giving me, the feedback, how they enjoyed this, enjoyed that. So I think there's a line that you start to rationalize and say, hey, the song is done. It's out, people are enjoying it. I mean, that's what it's about, right? If I enjoy it and the people are enjoying it, it's good. And we live to write another song another day.
You don't have people behind you pulling your way. You're screaming and kicking. No, I want to add one more thing. No, that's enough, Jay Darius. That's enough. Leave it alone.
Fortunately, folks, the engineers I work with, they're down. They're down for me to be like, hey, on this 1 second here, can we just do this one echo? And they
Mhm.
let me get really meticulous. But at the end of the day, when the song is complete, it's complete. I'm happy. Everybody's happy. So no, I worked with some really good people who let me get nitty gritty like
Yeah.
that.
But you said the key word right there, your engineers. They have to know you and know what you want, what you expect. So they're almost like a clone of you because okay, we know Jay Darius like this, like this, like this. Without saying anything, they know what you want. That's when you got that good chemistry together.
Mm-hmm. And that, I mean, that can make or break a song. The chemistry with you and that engineer who's tracking your vocals, whoever is mixing your vocals. I mean, right. If they can already be up here and how I want that, that also makes the process go faster. Because as I'm listening to a mix, they're already doing things that I would like them to do. I'd
Yeah.
like to hear it this way and feel it this way. And that takes pressure off of me where I can just go even further and say, well, let's dive into like just this section and work on it. I don't have to go each line by line, say, oh, it should be like this, it should feel like this. So no, the engineers play such an important role. And you know, chemistry is hard to come by, but I'm fortunate to have worked with some engineers that get me, who get it, who want the music to be cool and funky and groovy, however it's gonna be, they're just right there with me and they want that to come across in the music.
Right. Well, I see you wearing your trademark. That's we you know when it's you because you got your trademark on.
Right, right, that's
So,
right.
well, when you start wearing your trademark?
You know, I, this is maybe 2013 that I kind of just really got into the fedoras, and that's kind of the one thing that I've kept throughout this journey. But it's cool because, sometimes I do shows and I see people wearing fedoras because they're coming to the show, or they tell me like, hey, I put on my fedora tonight because I knew I was coming to see you. And so that's cool. It's just like a cool thing to share and help me with branding too. So people can identify like, oh, that's Jay Darius. Like,
Exactly.
I'm about to get a soulful vocal, like so, the simple thing like this go bleeds into the music and how people perceive you and how they want to feel you. So yeah, I keep it on and just have fun with it.
So are you like me, bald headed up under there, or do you have hair?
Oh yeah, no, it's nothing under there. It's just
So we use the same brush, that bald brush, no
oh
bristles.
yeah, oh yeah.
All right, what does Jay Darius got coming up for us in the future?
So yeah. So we have the new single out right now. Just Fell in Love came out June 16th. And that's doing really well. I'm gonna have another single come out before summer ends, and yeah, I still am in the studio recording. Hopefully, putting out like a full project again by the end of the year is my goal. And then next year, shows. Doing shows, getting out in the community, doing shows. Hopefully, hosting my own show. So yeah, I'm still kind of on the music grind and, really wanting to create a catalog of music where folks can
Yeah.
really dive into, me for the past, 3 years or so of music that I've really been focused in on. So I'm definitely coming with some more soulful music, but also, some up tempo, some poppy, funky music too, to just continue to expand and grow as an artist. But yeah, still writing my own music and
Yeah.
just being creative. That's where I'm at. I want to be creative. I don't want to hold myself down. I want to explore and try more things with my voice.
When you said that you're coming out with your music later on, here I go showing my age again. Back in the days, we had fall, winter, summer songs, spring
Mhm.
songs. Spring songs was the the lovely songs where 9 months later you have a kid. And then a lot of artists will wait until the summertime to release their summer songs. And
Mm,
back then, it stayed a hit the whole summer.
mm,
And now you look at it nowadays, a hit come out and it's forgot about the next day. I don't get it. One reason why I started this station, I listen to a station here in San Antonio. I'm not going to say who it is, but I heard the same song 4 times in 1 hour.
mm,
It's too much good music out there to let that happen.
mhm,
And what artists would do back in the days, they had certain seasons where they bring out their music. Now, fall music came out. It was a combination of slow and fast
mhm,
because it's cold outside and
mhm.
everything. But you knew in the summertime they was hitting it. They was hitting it. People out there dance. They was hitting it. So
Yeah.
I see that sort of went away. People just do music now. It doesn't matter what time of a day it is or year.
And I think that goes back to the technology.
Mm.
We're able to create music so quickly, and people are releasing, producing music so quickly that right, that kind of summer's probably like the main season that you see like a summer song hit. But outside of that time, I mean, right, you can release up tempos for Chris. It's just like wherever you feel it. And I think it just how you market it and how people receive you as an artist. Yeah, like the limits of seasonal music are kind of limited, that you can really produce and release as you want. But I think it just really speaks to technology because everyone's moving so quickly that
Yeah.
if you're not moving with the traffic, then you can easily be left behind because the big artists, are releasing music very often and it's in your face and it's moving. So yeah, I think it's just technology, but I think too, whatever you have is whatever you have, whatever season you drop it. Like wherever you're at in your life, in your artistry, that's the music that you're going to release. And when you release it, you just let it go and let those who are going to dive into it, let them dive into it. But yeah, it's definitely a different time where you can kind of just release as you want.
Yeah. What about Christmas music?
I have a Christmas EP out that I released last year, so I'll probably kind of dive back into that. We'll see if we get a Christmas single. But yeah, last year I was able to put that EP out, and
Okay.
I really think it's strong. So definitely going to be sharing that.
I want to get a hold of that because I do things. Usually I start playing Christmas music right after Thanksgiving.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
when I start. I see people jump the gun. Right now, there's some stores that got Christmas stuff out. Come on now. We haven't had Halloween, Thanksgiving yet.
Yeah, I'm not one of those people. I'm a November. Okay, after Thanksgiving is Christmas time. Like
Christmas. That's how I
yeah,
look at it.
that's how I am.
And then I go as far as New Year's Eve and come January 1st, the Christmas music stop on the radio station. That's it. I got that little opening right there, and that's what I use, and it's done.
I'm the same. I'm the same way.
Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. Last year, I don't know what happened, but I kept on hearing this Christmas. I said, I thought I removed everything. February. I said, where'd that come from? I found it, removed it. And June of this year, just last month, I uploaded some more music and stuff, and it went right by me. Another Christmas song came up in June. So I just want to say Christmas in June, y'all. Sorry about it. I'm 6 months early. But it happens and everything because I have to sit down there and look at everything as it goes along. Because when you program all the songs going on, things will slip by you. And one thing I refuse, if there's any cussing in the song, the N word, anything like, I pull that song right away.
Mhm.
I will not play that. Now I'm not gonna lie to you. A couple of them slipped by me, but I found it right away and got rid of it. That's just how I'm doing things. I want people to hear music for what it is. You don't need all that extra curricular stuff in there because you could how do I put it this way? My mama told me years ago, if you could cuss somebody out without cussing, you're a good speaker.
You're smart. An intelligent person.
Yeah, so that's how I look at it. So, but when you get something else new coming out, you got a concert coming, you got anything. Oh, one final question I want to ask you. Have you ever went to a place and sat down in a jam session or anything? Because that brings me back to Chicago when I was there when BB King and Bobby Boulan walked into a nice spot there in Chicago. They just sat there and had a jam session. Have you ever experienced that or want to do that?
I don't know if I have recently. I feel like when I was seeing gospel music, that was something that happened all the time because you're always around musicians playing. But I know that they have a couple of events in town. I definitely want to get out there just to jam out and just go with the flow. I feel like it's fun. It's not the pressure of being on or this being your set or anything. You're just having fun. So yeah, no, it's something I'm definitely wanting to do.
I'm gonna give a shameless plug out for this person right. Her name is April, and she started at Starlight. I think it's the second. I can't remember what day it is, but she's on Facebook and she has jam sessions out there. And I went to one last month. This guy came out of nowhere with the trombone and just got up on stage and jammed right in everybody else. I mean, it fitted in just right. And that remind me of home when I see jam sessions like that. And she named it, it's not karaoke, it's a jam session. You can
Mhm.
sing, you get up there and sing. If you could play an instrument, bring your instrument up there and play it. That
Right, right.
that remind me so much of home, and that's how it used to be back in the days.
I love that. Yeah, no, it sounds fun. I definitely want to get out when I get a chance.
Okay. Well, let me know. Go drop a bug in my ear. Let me know if you're gonna do that so I can show up there.
Okay, for sure, for sure.
All right, Mr. J. Darius, we appreciate you coming out, taking the time out, and for all the listeners out there, this is J. Darius, up and coming, not up and coming, the R&B soulful sounds of J. Darius on WSAN Radio. So that's a shameless plug for me, wasn't
I
it?
love it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, you take care. We look forward to
Okay.
talking to you again.
Yes, sir. Take
All right,
care.
all right, thank you.